What up, y'all? It's your boy B, and today I'm going to be going over an absolutely amazing topic. We're going to be going over the technique of visualization, but the law of assumption. And the law of assumption is one of the mental faculties that once you develop and unlock this in your own mind, your own state of awareness, the world begins to shift for you. It's almost like you understand the universe, you understand how it works, and you really begin to change your life and your situation. The law of assumption represents your ability to assume that you already have that which you are desiring for. I want to really liken it to a couple things where to help you point it out where the God in you, this is understanding from a perspective of that God dwells in you. First Corinthians 3:6 tells us that know ye not that ye are the temple of the living God and that he dwelleth in you. So if you are a part of our Facebook group, the Bible study group, which is basic instructions before leaving earth. That's what the Bible it's an acronym, basic instructions before leaving earth. Then you can follow along and catch up on to the understanding of that we are all gods. We are all God's sons and daughters of the Most High. This is a statement that Jesus said to all of us in Psalms 82:6. And so just to kind of dwell upon this a whole lot more, there's a lot of other things that are said in the scripture that lets us know that we are sons and daughters of God. We are part of the royal family, but a lot of us think that our mortal existence is the way we control this world, and it has nothing to do with controlling. It's everything in the external world of earth is an effect. It's an effect of a cause, of an inner cause. And so we always liken it to the earth is a shadow of heaven. So whatever it is that's in heaven, it's going to be reflected on the outside. The reflection on the outside is your life circumstances. So whatever your life circumstances may be, you have been thinking on those things and you are literally standing in what you've been thinking about. And so if you want to know what your past thoughts were, look around you. You're standing in them. Anything that you ponder on, anything that you think about, you're going to be standing in. So what am I telling you? You have the inalienable right to literally change your circumstances. If there's somebody that you know that doesn't like the situation, you may want to have them watch this. This is the most life-changing information you're going to ever hear or learn in your life. And don't just be hearers of the word, be doers of the word. James 1:22. You want to apply this information that I'm going to teach you so that you can develop the mental faculties so that you can literally melt physical walls, physical barriers, physical circumstances, and people that you feel that are blocking your blessings. Only person that's blocking your blessings is you, and you not knowing who you really are. So now what we want to do is take your attention to technique number 3, the law of assumption. This technique is very simple and extremely powerful, and if persisted in, can bring about any change that you desire. So think about this. Anything that you want to do, anything that you want to have, anything that you want to receive, anything that you want to be, you can literally use this one technique to change your entire situation. And we'll give you the background story of this, but the Harris Estate, the Garden of Eden, this is a representation of the law of assumption, of assuming that you have everything that you want. And so now I'm standing in my actual dream. I'm standing in my dream home. I'm standing in my dream estate. And this comes from using this technique, and that I teach thousands of students around the world. And I'm pretty sure we're going to be growing to 1 million students soon. But this application, we have tons of success stories of people who are living their best lives. And the great thing about it is, none of us want the same thing. None of us have the same desires. And because it's such an infinite universe that God has created, that it's more than enough for everybody. Just as many trees as you see and many blades of grass as you see, there's more than enough for all of us. So I don't have to compete with anybody. You don't have to compete with me. I don't have to compete with you. We can all use our inner ability to become more than what we are standing in this very moment. And this technique is going to show you how to do that. So all you do is assume that you already have what you desire. Listen to this. Assumption. Write notes. Take this down. Write this down. All you do is assume that you already have what you desire. Nothing more if you desire to be free of debt. Let me say this again. Nothing more. If you desire to be free of debt, assume that you already are free of debt. It is truly amazing the power we have as God. So being an extension of the one true source, being an extension of God, We have an amazing ability inside of all of us that once we use it, once we become aware of it, once we learn it, we can literally shift our world. That we can simply assume something to be and it becomes that. If I were to summarize all of the techniques that we teach into one thing, it would surely be to assume that you already possess that which you seek. I'm going to keep reading this and then I want to talk about this a little bit more. The law is so powerful because it allows the greater mind in you to bring about your desired state. This greater mind knows all and can do all. And by simply assuming you have what you want, the God in you works best. By assuming that you have what you want, the God in you works best. For by assuming, you use the least amount of effort and your state becomes as natural as breathing. So I want to give you an example of assuming, and we're going to go into this a little bit more, but when I assume, when I claim, like even if I don't speak it out of my mouth, meaning if your mouth can't move, you can take on the assumption that you are that which you have claimed to be. So for instance, if you want to be, have a promotion, assume that you have it. What would the feeling be like? Take on the assumption. Now here's the thing about this. I want to give you some examples to understand so we can make a reference to this. So when I take on the assumption of something, what I'm doing is I want to tap into the channel, the station that this is on. So how do I tap into the station? I assume it. So if I say I am a billionaire, I am a billionaire. I am a billionaire. Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful being a billionaire? I am a billionaire. Isn't it wonderful that I am a billionaire? I am a billionaire. Isn't it wonderful? So now I lift my spirit by saying this. Isn't it wonderful? How does it feel knowing, how would it feel knowing that I was a billionaire? How would that feeling, what would that feeling be like if it were already true? Okay, so now I catch an impulse. Okay, what would the feeling be like if it was already true? Isn't it wonderful? And I get into this state of awareness. Okay, now I start thinking from what would I do now that I'm a billionaire? I would do a video talking about how I became a billionaire. I'll be so excited, right? And so I get into this state. Well, what else would I do? All right, I would call up a friend. Like, man, we officially billionaires or whatever. I would be so excited about it. So what would I do? Isn't it wonderful? Okay, I would probably literally be doing the exact same thing that I'm doing right now. So I would get into this state of assumption and then I would close my eyes. And then if I wanted a car, I would go drive the car. I wouldn't say, oh, I need this one. I would go drive the car. I would go outside and I would walk around in my estate. I would be in an estate, right? If I was a billionaire, I would walk around in a state. I would, give a tour of my house or whatever it is. I'm walking around in my human imagination, right? And I'm doing all of these things in my imagination. I'm walking it around until I walk around in it so much to where I lose consciousness of being without it. And I step into the picture. I step into the picture and make it so evidently real to where now I'm walking in the dream, physically in the dream, just like I am now. Just like I am now. I got my hot, warm jacuzzi right here. I got my fire pit. I got my 4-hole golf course over here for all of you that want to get beat in golf course. And I'm walking around in my dream, feeling it to be evidently real. I'm going to roast some marshmallows tonight, right? And so now by me doing this, by me walking around in my dream, the way that I see it in my mind's eye, then what I do is I have the inalienable right to open up my eyes and come back into the present moment. Now, what did I just do? By me using my imagination and using my assumption with my imagination, I have established the destination with my imagination. That is the image that I just walked around in. I have just established the destination. And once I've established the destination, then I give it fuel by having the feeling of excitement for it. The feeling of assumption that it's already done. The feeling of assumption that I've already had it. That means the God in me has already been there. So the God in me's past is my human body's future. Ooh, that's some good meat. The God in me's past is my human body's future. So now what do I want to do? I want to make sure that what scripture says, if it be a good virtue, if it be a good report, if it be anything good, any good experience, think on these things. So now I want to ponder on this because here's the understanding of this. If I have a spaceship, if I have a plane, knowing how to fly planes, I have my private pilot's license. Now, if I want to steer my ship, I can set my plane on autopilot. I'm going to show you how to do this. I can set my plane. When I get up in the sky, the plane literally flies itself. And 95% of the time, it kind of goes off course. So it's up to the pilot's job to just steer it in the right direction, until I take land, until I land at my destination, until I get to exactly where I want it to be. It's the pilot's job to just make sure I'm steering it in the right direction because the plane is flying on autopilot. So now when I decide to come out of the pilot seat or allow the autopilot to play, what am I doing? I'm allowing my conscious mind to ponder off, to wonder on things, to daydream. What I want to do is I want to have the positive images that go with what I am believing for. So how do I program my internal autopilot? What I do is I recite affirmations that line up with where I'm going to. Because faith comes by hearing, programming comes by hearing, belief comes by hearing. Belief is internal programming on your hard drive. So now I want to repeatedly say whatever it is. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am an abundant billionaire. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm enjoying life with my sons and my life partner. I'm so happy and grateful now that my family is enjoying life. We're all living abundantly and wealthy. I'm so happy and grateful now that all of my business partners and people that have invested in me are living a life of financial abundance now, and they apply these same principles and techniques to live their best life. I'm so happy and grateful now that. And so I get in this state, and I keep saying these specific affirmations. I'm an irresistible magnet with the power to attract it to myself. Everything that I divinely desire, according to the thoughts, feelings, and mental pictures that I constantly entertain and radiate. I am the center of my universe. I have the power to create whatever I wish. I attract whatever I radiate. I attract whatever I choose and mentally accept. I begin choosing and mentally accepting the highest and best in life. I begin choosing and mentally accepting lavish abundance for myself and for all humankind. This is a rich and friendly universe, and I dare to accept this riches, this hospitality to enjoy them now. So I program all of this into my brain so that when my autopilot kicks in, you can't control 95% of the time. I'm telling you, the subconscious is working and you don't even realize it. So now that I've programmed new software into my subconscious, into my autopilot, now as my ship is traveling along in space, I'm okay with the images that my subconscious is presenting to me. Right? All of my images are now programmed to make me feel good. Okay? It's set on autopilot. And so now that it's set on autopilot, I can choose selective times throughout the day, 10, 20, 30 minutes, 5 minutes, to where I get in and I go in my imagination to where I want to be. I go in my imagination to the exact destination, and I go out and lay out more detail. Okay, I'm going to do this. All right, we're doing this. We're running around. Okay, everybody's out there playing in the pool. All this other stuff. Everybody's having fun. We got a cookout today. All of these things, I'm playing out the mental images because I've already been there. So now I go and I dwell in it. I step into the picture. I'm assuming that I have it now. And so now my imagination is creating a feeling. These thoughts make me feel good. If any thought in my imagination don't make me feel good, I cease to think about it anymore. I want to be in tune with my feeling. The imagination is the steering. Hear me out. The imagination is me steering my spaceship, my human spaceship, and my feeling is the fuel, is the gas, is my emotion. My energy in motion, my emotion, my energy in motion is my feeling frequency. So once again, the farther I am away from it, the more fuel I need to ignite to get to it. So I want to really charge up my feeling frequency, something that makes me feel good, an image that makes me feel good, and I want to really radiate it so that I can get on that frequency. And then throughout the day, I want to tap into that frequency. I want to get there. And the more I feel it, the more I'm standing in it, the more I'm vibrating with it. And the longer I vibrate with it, the faster it comes. I can literally manifest something into my world instantaneously if I feel it to be real. So the key thing that you want to do is vibrate it, and you don't have to worry about the how. The how is going to take care of itself. All of the thoughts, all of the circumstances, all of the events are going to pass through you, pass by you. As long as you don't give it any emotion, any energy in motion, any feeling, any frequency, to what's happening as you transform to get to where you want to be, as long as you don't do that and you stay in the fulfillment of the assumption of it already being true, of it already happening, of it already being real, you, my friend, will stand in anything that you desire. The biggest thing is now is you got to determine most people don't know what they want. So if you don't know what you want, what I did was I was at a place in my life where I was extremely comfortable, and comfort is a dangerous place to be because it's the illusion that you are standing still. And when you have the illusion that you're standing still, you cannot go forward. Really, you, because you don't want to. You like, oh, I'm in a good place. I'm in a happy place. But comfort is an illusion because you're actually going backwards. If you're not moving forward, you're not standing still. You're going backwards. And so understanding that, what you want to do is you want to get into a place to where you're always ready to choose the next destination. Enjoy it, blast in it, love it, excel it, dwell in it, but expand. God is expansion. And so now what I had to do is I had to ask the God in me. I was like, okay, give me something to desire. Give me something to reach for that is in divine order, divine harmony within your will. Boom. So now these images, these desires pop into your heart. If you don't know how to use Google, it will not serve you as a human. If you don't know how to use the God in you, it won't serve you as a human. Same concept, right? So now I developed this inner desire. And so now when I get the desire, it can give me an image to look at. Oh, I like that image. And then it starts to present things on the outside. Oh, I like this. And I start to pick these things. Then I go see it in the physical world. Okay, I like this. And I get things in my physical world to collectively bring back to my imagination. And so what I want to do throughout the day is I want to select the things that I love seeing. Anything that I don't love seeing, I don't give it any emotion. I don't react to it. So if somebody's arguing with you or talking to you, stop reacting to it. Let it pass by. Give it no attention, no emotional reaction. And so now circumstances and events are going to pass by, and speak at your life, speak in your atmosphere from heaven. Speak from the place of fulfillment. Speak from the place of it already being done. You can do this a lot to yourself so that your surroundings don't think you're just some wild, crazy person walking around. But if you can kind of surround yourself with an environment of people who understand this spiritual law, then a lot of you can go places a lot faster. That's why it's very important to have a mastermind. And you want to mastermind with people that are where you want to be. It's really hard to mastermind with people who are at a place below where you want to be, because you're going to be in a vibration or a vortex of those type of thoughts. You got to stretch yourself and get around people that you want to be around, or that you want to be like, or live a lifestyle that you want to be like. And then eventually you get in a vortex of those thoughts and you begin to think like them, act like them, operate like them, and all of those things. So now you get into a place of assumption and you take the God in you to the many mansions. In my Father's house, there are many mansions. In my heaven, there are many mansions. And so now I dwell in this state. And then the state is already ready for occupancy. All you got to do is step into the picture. How would it feel knowing that this was real right now? Boom, open up my eyes. I want to open up my eyes to where I'm standing in it. And what I'm telling you is right now in this very moment, I am standing in something that I visualized repeatedly over and over and over again. I can touch it, I can taste it, I can feel it, and I can do this with anything. I can do this with anybody. Anybody that you have in your world, you drew them to you by pondering on it. When you control this, this, my friend, will take you anywhere you want to be in the world. And so now that you know this, you have the ability to literally tap into the God source within inside of you and allow yourself to catch a feeling for what it is that you want. This helps you better understand the psychological aspect of the story, Isaac, Esau, and Jacob. Isaac, I'll tell you a quick story about that, and then we'll end the session up today. But the story is in Genesis. I believe it's Genesis 27:21, where the story kind of climax. But Isaac, I believe, was the son of Abraham, and Isaac ended up losing his sight. Let me see, Isaac ended up losing his sight, and so, but him and his wife had, she had a baby, and she was pregnant with twins, and so the twins, one of them was named Esau, and one of them was Jacob, and they were both in the room battling the whole time, and so when the twins were ready to be born, Esau came out first. And when Esau came out, Jacob slowly came out after Esau holding his heel. Okay, so boom, pretty much attached to him. And so in those days, Esau was the firstborn. In those days, Esau was the firstborn, so the firstborn gets the blessing of the father. And so by the firstborn being born, the blessing of the father, there's no rearranging of that. And so one day, it was time for Esau to receive his blessing from the father. And when he received his blessing from the father, the day of, the father told him, go out into the field and, get a sacrifice to bring it back in so that I can give you your blessing. And so the mother, her favorite was Jacob. So Jacob's mother overheard Isaac telling Esau it was time for him to receive his blessing to go out in the field. So she hurriedly called Jacob in and said, okay, Jacob, come on in here, go out. Now, here's the big thing to understand. Esau was very hairy. He was a very hairy man. And so the wife, Jacob's mother, she heard him telling him to go out in the field. So what she did was she had him go kill an animal and clothe his body with the hairy skin of the animal. She wanted him to feel like Esau. She was already thinking ahead. So now Jacob hurried up, came back, and Esau was still out in the field. And so Jacob came in, said, I'm ready for my blessing. And so in Genesis 27 and 21, Isaac says, he stated as saying, come closer, my son. You sound like Jacob. He said, come closer, my son, so that I can feel you. He wanted him to come closer so that he can feel him. He said, you sound like Jacob, hear me out, but you feel like Esau. And for that reason, I'm giving you the blessing of the firstborn. Y'all better hear this. So understanding this story, if you were to take it in its literal sense, it makes sense to think that this is a deceitful story. Why are you telling me the story on how to steal somebody's blessing? That's the human understanding. But the spiritual understanding of this story is that Isaac represents the Father in us that is blind to whomever comes into his temple. He doesn't see you for that. He only feels you. He doesn't see you for the past mistakes. He doesn't see you for the negative things you've done. He doesn't see you for the good things you've done. He only feels what you present to him. And so now Esau represents the outer man, the physical part of you that is born first. The outer man of you is what wakes up first. Your consciousness wakes up first. And you are attached to this human world. That's your Esau. But when the spirit man, he comes out second. You're born again in spirit. So when the spirit man of you is born, then Jacob is now resurrected in you. The spirit side of you. And so now you understand that the firstborn gets the blessing. So what you have to do to get the blessing is you have to get in tune as a spirit man with your feelings. And this is how you present yourself to the Father. Anything that you want in the external world, you got to clothe your spirit, your outer man, with the feeling that you already have it. And this is you putting on the hairy skin of Esau, so that you could get the blessing to be granted with what it is that you're feeling for, that you're feeling after. And once you feel like you already have it, there is no denying you of the blessing of the firstborn. This, my friend, is a psychological representation of Esau, Jacob, and Isaac. So that you could understand that to get the blessing of the Father, all you got to do is take on the full assumption. Now, there's more to this technique that we'll go into in another video, but you got to take on the full assumption that you already have that what you desire to hope, feel, and be. Guys, it's your boy B, blessing each and every one of you with light, wisdom, and law. And once again, the transformations that we give with these private one-on-one mentorings at our family estate, our family resort, is life-changing, guys. It takes you and anybody around you to the next level, guys. So our one-on-one mentoring that we have here at the resort will change your life. It's a restoration. It's a healing. It's an awakening of the inner man inside of you, the inner spirit inside of you, the inner God inside of you. And if you would like to experience this, make sure you inbox me on Facebook, Bryan S. Harris, or you email us at unitedhouseofcare@gmail.com for more one-on-one mentoring so that you can get yourself and your family to one of these private restoration consultations and mentoring so that you can get back on the right track and start to live your best life, guys. It's your boy B, reminding each and every one of you to be great and to go out and continue to win big for yourselves and your family. I love each and every one of you, and I will talk to you guys later.